So Elon Musk is using ICE detainees as experiments for his Neuralink project. That is coming from a video from a woman that's a really good journalist, by the way, connecting dots as to why Elon is connected to Alligator Alcatraz, ICE, and Neuralink as a whole. As I was watching that video, it makes perfect sense as to why he would use these immigrants and these ICE detainees to experiment on, because they are easily able to just disappear these people if they have to. They don't really have any documentation of even being here. So to them, they're just using these people as experiments. Any, I would say, sane American or anybody in this country, doesn't matter if you're American, whatever, nobody would go into a line to a medical facility and say, yes, I want you to open my head and put a chip in it. No one's going to do it. But since these ICE detainees don't really have a safe for themselves, they can just do whatever they want with them. This is very disturbing, and I believe this is why Elon was working with Trump in the first place. I will try to pin her account name in this video so you guys can see the original video, but it makes perfect sense. You have Elon with Doge, Peter Thiel with Palantir, all these people working together to implement some type of Antichrist beast system in the future. So they're going to start using these people as experiments. Makes perfect sense. I'd like to hear your thoughts on what you think about this. It's very fucking disturbing.
Alright, Shalom. Israel Shalom. First and foremost, before I get started, I want to give infinite and all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachaha Kodash. Alright, and that's who this world ignorantly and incorrectly calls God, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit in the ancient Paleo-Hebrew language. Double honor as well to the beloved elders and apostles of Yasharallah who uphold and who preach and who teach the 100% truth of the scriptures. And we know that truth lives with the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, starting with Elder Apostle Tahar on down. And double honor as well to the beloved elder, the Zaquan of the Men of Israel Camp, the Zaquan Chazak, whom I teach under here in Greenville, South Carolina. And a hearty, wide, healthy shalom to you, Achim wa Akwathiam, your brethren and sisters who are diligently and sincerely working out your faith in these last days with fear and trembling toward your salvation. And to you only do I say shalom. And again, that's Hebrew for peace. This is the Ach Aliyah, the brother Elijah, coming with a brief, response to the clip that you see on the screen and that you heard in the intro. Again, the clip being titled, Elon Musk is using ICE detainees for Neuralink experiments. And I just wanted to respond to this. I'm not quite sure what the title would be just yet, but this is a spiritual response, man, because truly you can't put anything past Esau, man. You can't put anything past the wicked of the Bible. You can't put anything past the devil that the Bible speaks of, man. And again, like we always go into, that word devil, when you go into it, when you do research, right, instead of just taking words at face value, when you do research, the Latin word diablos, right, which is where you get the English word devil from, it means deceiver, right? So it has nothing to do with a red man with a pitchfork and a long pointed tail and pointy ears under the earth, poking souls, laughing, talking about, I got you, you're burning. That's not the devil, man. The devil is an actual man and a people that walk amongst us in the earth, man. That again through the spiritual demon Satan, right? The spiritual entity Satan, which is where the devil gets his power from, from these left-handed rituals and demonic sacrifices that are performed on the left-hand side. They're able to deceive the world, deceive the masses, deceive the population, the populace, the people. All right, and I have a couple of scriptures pulled, as well as it reminded me of some history, right? Which for those of y'all that aren't aware of what the Neuralink is, and if you're not aware, like I said, it reminded me of some history of the Tuskegee experiment, which I'll grab both of these really quickly. This is what it reminded me of, right? So this is the Neuralink according to AI mode on Google. Neuralink is a neurotechnology company founded by Elon Tusk that is developing implantable brain computer interfaces, BCIs, or brain chips. The company's goal is to create a direct connection between the human brain and computers to help people with severe neurological conditions regain lost functions and, in the long term, potentially enhance human capabilities, right? There's some key features and functionalities that's mentioned in this article, which I'm not really gonna go all the way into. Let me see. I think there was something else I wanted to read. All right, no, that's pretty much it. Just a brief summary about what this technology is. So you see exactly what he was describing in the clip as, you would need your things inserted into your head, into your skull. This is exactly what their goal is, man. To have CHIPS, which I've already said the word, so it's out there, brain implants within humans, man. That's the company's goal. That's their agenda, The clip also reminded me of the Tuskegee experiment, man, because again, this lesson is not to be a video on whether or not, the claims in the clip were true or false. Nevertheless, having a spiritual mind and watching something like that, it doesn't surprise me, man, because you can't put anything past Esau, right, which is the physical counterpart, the physical manifestation of the spiritual demon Satan in the earth. Esau, Edom, right, which is the biblical name and nationality for the self-proclaimed so-called white men, women, and children, right? According to the Holy Bible, they are the Edomites, the descendants of Esau. And they, pursuant to Job chapter 9 and verse 24, are who has the current top rulership in the earth, man. They are the ones with the top government in the earth, Talking about the people that control America. And I'm not talking about your politicians and your governors and your elected presidents. That's a part of the joke, man. That's a part of the play that's going on right now. The elites behind the scenes that actually control the American dollar, right? The U.S. financial system, right? The elites that actually control what goes on in the country, right? That own the president, right? Which we know are the Edomites. They are the ones who the scriptures identify as the wicked, pursuant to Malachi chapter 1 and verse 4, right? And the scriptures in Job chapter 9 and verse 24 tell us that the earth has been given into their hands. So if you have wicked people ruling the world, then you shouldn't really be surprised when there's wickedness being done, right? Whether spoken about broadly or kept in the dark. And that was something, this clip is something that, again, doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise the Achim, the brothers, and the few sincere sisters that have faith and believe in the words of Yahweh Shema Shai, right? The God of the Bible. He prophesied and he told us that the wicked could only do wickedly. He told us that. And it reminded me, like I said, of the Tuskegee experiment, right? Because if you debate whether or not that clip had any validity to it, you can't deny that the Tuskegee experiment was a real thing, right? So I did a Google search, what was the Tuskegee experiment? And AI Overview responded with the Tuskegee experiment. Officially, the U.S., right, which is the United States, for everyone that's in denial about what the government can do and what they can legally get away with, right? It says officially, the U.S. Public Health Service untreated syphilis study at Tuskegee was an infamous and unethical medical research project conducted by the U.S. government from 1932 to 1972. So that wasn't just a couple of days. It wasn't just a few weeks and we were like, oh, well, we weren't aware that they didn't know. It was a mistake. This went on for years, right? It says the study's purpose was to observe the natural history of untreated syphilis in African American men. Key details of the study. The participants, right, which says the study involved 600 impoverished African American sharecroppers from Macon County, Alabama. Of these men, 399 had syphilis, and 201 were a control group who did not have the disease. So again, these are impoverished African Americans, man, which means what they weren't in the top of society. People weren't looking around, watching for them, checking on them, making sure everything was going well. These were people that were undervalued, man, or should I say, these were looked at as the undesirables of the world, man. To the point where this could go on for years and nobody say anything. Nobody ask a question. Is this legal? Is this even right? Is this something humane, like they would like to say? Is this even humane to do? No one asked those questions for all those years, man. From, like I said, from 1932 to 1972. Just like nobody's asking what are the literal living conditions in the Alcatraz prison. What are these prisoners doing every day that they're just sitting in there? How are they being treated? What's going on? No one's asking those questions. You know why? Because they were too worried about when the American government was going to open back up. They were too ready to get back on with their everyday life. No one cares about what's happening to the scum of the earth, to the people who deserve to be locked up, quote unquote. Nobody cares. And again, this is not a new sentiment. This is nothing new to the servants of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, to the children of Israel, right? The Lord told us never to trust our enemy, right? And this is a primary example why. Look, the deception and lack of consent. The men were not informed they had syphilis or that they were part of a research study. Instead, researchers told them they were receiving free medical treatment. You see that emphasis? Free, right? This is going to be something that they use to promote all these new technologies, all these new advancements. Hey, it's free. It doesn't even cost you anything, right? That's because you're their damn lab rat. You're their test junkie, right? It says they were offered incentives such as free medical It says researchers told them they were receiving free medical treatment for quote-unquote bad blood, a local term for various ailments. They were offered incentives such as free medical exams, meals, and burial insurance to participate. So again, they anticipating your ass is going to die. You see that? Withholding of treatment. Even after penicillin became the standard and highly effective cure for syphilis in the mid-1940s, researchers deliberately withheld this treatment from the infected men to track the disease's progression until death and autopsy. So they were killing these men intentionally to study the dead corpses, to study the bodies after they were dead, to figure out, so this is that effect. So this is what happens. Why do you think they weren't doing this to the average so-called white man? Why do you think it was only targeted to African Americans? For one, they know our bodies are resilient, man. Just for one, they're still trying to wrap their heads around how intricately, right, and how beautifully the Lord created our bodies to be as Israelites, man. That's the primary reason. But also, the second one is because they don't give a damn about us. They hate us because of the envy, because of the jealousy that the Lord chose us to be his people. So this is why we were targeted, man. They could have just said any and all, we want to get true results from our studies. So let's get a variety of different nations. No, they know whose body is on par with the earth and how we live in the earth, how resilient our bodies are, So they knew exactly what they wanted. They weren't going to test it on no Edomite, knowing that they already have quote unquote recessive genes, man. Your body is already lacking certain necessities for health and life. It's already, even before you go deep into the human body, you can see in the skin, y'all don't even have melanin, so there was no need for Esau to test his people. They wouldn't have made it, But again, the point, that was back all the way to the fact that these people are led by the spiritual demon Satan that seeks nothing but death and destruction, especially to the children of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, right? The children of the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, which you know again is the God of Israel. You so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, we are the Israelites according to the Bible. And Esau Edom knows that, which is why even what's going on right now with the alligator Alcatraz, that was set up for Jake, man, for Israelites, the Northern Kingdom, you know, the Latin tribes. That's who's over there getting done any kind of way right now, you know, and it's nothing new under the sun. It says, withhold of treatment. It says at the latter half of the paragraph, it says, they even prevented some men from accessing treatment programs available to other residents in the area. The harm and consequences as a direct result of the untreated disease, many men died from syphilis-related complications, such as heart disease and neurological issues. Wives of participants also contracted the disease, and children were born with congenital syphilis. You see that? That's wicked, man. It's wicked. This is why we call Esau Edom the damn devil that the Bible speaks of. And this isn't widely known, man. Esau Edom wants to truly keep this whole thing under wraps, especially after it got exposed, which is what this next part goes into. They want to bypass this and move on. Oh, that was in the past. Get over it. You're just scared. You just can't afford health insurance. You know, whatever they want to say. You know. But truly, it's because we know that these hospitals, these doctors, these physicians of no value, they're not set up to help us, man. We're in the land of our captivity. We're in the land of our enemies, where we've been sent to suffer the curses, man. Any of our people that are looking unto this place for salvation and true help and aid, you've been deceived. You've been successfully sipping off the titty of the Babylon juice, man. You know, you've fallen short to believing in the American dream. So again, we understand that this place is wicked, and the people that are in it are why it's wicked, man. The people that are controlling these things. Exposure and legacy. It says the study was exposed to the public by a whistleblower in 1972, causing widespread outrage and leading to its termination. So the only reason it was terminated is because of a whistleblower, man. Because somebody rung the alarm and it got exposed. Who knows what Esau Edom would have been doing and for how long if that whistleblower had not said anything. You know? You can almost guarantee that it would have continued. They didn't have a sense of morality and truth come to them and they start questioning, I don't really think this is right, man. No, they got exposed, man. And they probably didn't even terminate it. They just, on the outside, were probably relocated, went to a different site and called it a different name. Or now they said, we're looking for a different disease. That's how the devil operates, man. He lets you think one thing and the whole time it's a whole nother thing. You can read the rest of this on your own. At the very end, it says the Tuskegee experiment is a primary example of unethical research on a vulnerable population. Aren't the prisoners in the Alcatraz prison, aren't they vulnerable right now? Right? Don't they have their quote-unquote rights taken away right now? It says the Tuskegee experiment is a primary example of unethical research on a vulnerable population and a significant factor contributing to a lasting mistrust of medical and public health institutions among many African Americans. And it's not just the African Americans, man. All the tribes have really seen why we shouldn't trust Esau Edom. Let's get some of these scriptures now, man. Because again, this is nothing new. Ecclesiasticus 12 and verse 10. It says, never trust thine enemy. No, but we can trust them now. The Tuskegee experiment was years ago. These institutions have HIPAA regulations now. Right. The scripture said, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua said, never trust thine enemy. For like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed, and beware of him. See, Esau Edom loves to hide himself and go crouching and move in a way that is subtle, move in a way that can be easily perceived. And now you think, oh, well, no, he's different now. They're not like that anymore. It was just the old ones, you know. Let me take a drink real quick. It was just the old ones. That was just in the old days, the old times. Man, hell no. You're gone for saying that, and the other person is gone for believing it, man. There's nothing new under the sun, like the scriptures say. Let's read that really quickly. Ecclesiastes 1:9. The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be. And that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. There's no new thing under the sun. So the people and the things that we see taking place and going on in the earth right now are exactly how they were going on in the past. We just see technology and things of that nature advancing, you know, an increase and an influx of wisdom, which is also prophecy, you know, that knowledge would increase in this time, man, you know. I'll prove that. Daniel chapter 12 and verse 4, it says, but thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. You see that? So we're living in those days where knowledge is being increased. Now Esau Edom has forwarded his technology to the point where he knows he can crack your skull open by drilling it or by sawing it. Crack your skull open, insert a chip into your skull, put that piece of skull back in position, sew and stitch your skin and your scalp back together to a point where your hair can grow back even. And now you're a walking cyborg. Now he can monitor your brain waves. Now he can alter your thoughts and your emotions. Now he can connect you to his interweb, you know. Now you're a pawn of his agenda, of his enterprise, man. And again, this is what the scriptures prophesied, that this will come to pass. Revelation 13, starting at verse 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark. And like we go into that word mark all the time, that's Strong's G. I don't know why I thought I was about to say the Strong's G like I know it by heart. But it's the Greek word harax. Actually, I'll pull it up so you can see for edification's sake. Jeremiah 13 and 23. I wanted that, so let me pull it up over here. Okay, we'll go there in a second. Matter of fact, I'll pull it up over here. Revelation 13, Jeremiah 20, Jeremiah 13. Okay. So here I got so many Bible tabs open. All right, let's go to Jeremiah 13 over here. You know, just precepts that I had pulled through the spirit that I want to grab. Let's go to Revelation 13 over here, just so I can make sure I'm bringing it out correctly. Jeremiah, Revelation 13, and you get that Greek word for mark right here. And he causeth all, Revelation 13 and 16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And you get that Greek word for the word mark, which, like I said, we go into all the time. It's not new. Haragma, right? I said harax. That's the root word for haragma. So the water, how about Shema for letting me bring it out. The 100% truth. Strong's G5480. Haragma, right? Which is a stamp, according to the outline of biblical usage, an imprinted mark, right? So just like how you have sculptures and things that you etch and you carve and you dig into to have a certain image or logo or imprinted staple in, is the same way that this is going to be in cutting into, right? As it says, the second entry says a thing carved, sculpture, or graven work of idolatrous images. So essentially, and like I said, harax is the root word. That word harax goes into, which is Strong's G 5482, in the outline of biblical usage, a pale or a stake, a palisade, right, which goes into the device that's going to be used to make that cutting into the flesh, that's going to make that incision in your flesh. It's the syringe, right? And as that syringe cuts into your body and they squeeze, pinch that little device and inject that chip in you, whether it be in your head or your skull, guess what? You have received the mark, right? Revelation 13:16, he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. Emphasis on free and bond. So even those that are held captive in prisons, they're not exempt. So it all lines up beautifully with that clip. Whether it's valid or not is not the point. This is prophecy that these things will be taking place. It says to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, which again, we know that mark is tied into the RFID C-hip as well, the radio frequency identification chip. You know, this is how the technology communicates to the internet, and you know, it's all wirelessly. You know, but the device is implanted within you. It says in verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So again, this is the beast technology, and this is the beast mark. And the book of Revelation chapter 14 tells you that all that receive that mark, they're going to be destroyed according to the Lord. So this is a heavy judgment. If this is actually taking place right now, and you have certain people that are being tested on unwillingly and forced to have this device in their skulls, you know, the Lord is marking them for judgment. You know, that's a hell of a judgment. Like the elder Chazak of the Men of Israel camp, because I shared this clip in our chat, the elder said it beautifully, man. The Lord, that's a heavy judgment the Lord is putting on Israelites, man. Having them receive that device. Their fate is sealed if they receive that device, man. You know, the judgment's already written. So let's go back. Ecclesiastes 12:10. Never trust thine enemy, right? Which is the book of Sirach. For like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. See, he doesn't change, right? Just like iron rusts and it grows that layer of rust over the front. Yeah. That's just like the wicked. It's still a rod of iron. It hasn't changed. It just has rust growing over it. So it might hide and change its appearance for a time. But you wipe that rust off, guess what you're still going to see? The same rod of iron. It's the same way with these Edomites. Yeah, they're still wicked. Even though they're able to go, like it says in verse 11, though he humble himself. Oh, can you help me across the street? I'm just an old woman. I need help. You're still a devil bitch, man. You know, and excuse my French, that's how we refer to Esau Edom's women, man. No matter how old you are, you're still a devil, man. You're still a devil. And let's not even get started about you being up in old age, because that means you were around the times where this wickedness was accepted, man. Your hate towards the Israelites was known, man. Now you can cloak it. Now it's covered up through fake humility, man. But let Jacob's trouble break out and let judgment start to come out. You know, you're going to show your true colors and how you truly feel about people, especially the Israelites. Though he humble himself, Sirach 12:11, and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. Set him not by thee, lest when he hath overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat, and thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. So you're going to have a lot of people that trust Esau Edom. No, they would never do that. You guys are just being mean. You guys are just racist. You guys are just hurt. They would never do that. Well, okay. We'll see who gets the last laugh, man. This is Jeremiah 13:23. It says, can the Ethiopian change his skin, or the leopard his spots? Then may ye also do good that are accustomed to do evil. This is a cut, man. No, you can't do good that are accustomed to do evil. You can't. Just like the leopard can't change his spots and the Ethiopian can't change his skin, you can't stop being wicked. Even the fact that you want us to believe that you're good is a damn lie. It's wicked as hell, man. You know? I got this other verse right here, and I'll wrap it up with this. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 13. It says, consider the work of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, for who can make that straight which he hath made crooked? You see that? The Lord created the Esau Edom to be crooked. They're not straight. They're not righteous. They're not holy. They're not good. They're not blameless. They are to blame for a lot of the wickedness and a lot of the evil that's going on right now. They're not innocent. They're guilty. They're not honest. They're liars and deceivers, man. They're not good. They're evil. They're wicked. And the scriptures tell us that they're not going to change. The Lord set up the holy apostles and the prophets to bring out the prophecies and the truth about the matter, which is that America is about to be destroyed for the wickedness that's been perpetuated here, and that's about to take place here. World War III has been prophesied to come upon the world, and America will be destroyed via thermonuclear fire in the end of it. And let's read that here in Revelation 14, and we'll wrap it up here. Revelation 14, starting at verse 9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead, right, that's the brain implants, or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. So that's the judgment. You're going to be tormented with fire and brimstone. And that's prophecy about the ICBM missiles, the intercontinental ballistic missiles. That's what this prophecy is about. America is going to be destroyed with fire and brimstone at the climax of World War III. You know, and this is according to the commandment of the Holy One, the commandment of the Heavenly Father. Again, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, the God of Israel. He is the one that has set up this judgment to come upon the wicked, you know, not the righteous. So again, that should show you something about this world and the people in it. You know, so with that, I'm going to go ahead and end it. Abanaw Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Ratazah. Lord willing, this was edifying to the sincere, hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. Until next time, I end it by giving infinite and all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Rachaha Kodash Wa Abababa. Death to the wicked. Shalom.